Now here's the man that needs no introduction.
Hey everybody, it's Jim here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hey everybody, it's Jim here.
I've always wanted to do this.
Hey everybody, it's Jim here.
What's your connection to Parkinson's disease?
Hey everybody, it's Jim here.
Sorry, that's my foot.
I'll do better next time.
Hey everybody, it's Jim here. It's great to have you back. I'm very excited and grateful today to learn a little bit more about today's guest. I met him briefly last year in Victoria when we started the Spinning Wheels Tour ride. He lives in North Saanich and has been gracious enough to join us again. Andy Robinson, thank you very much.
No problem. Pleasure.
So Andy, let's jump right into it. Tell us about your Parkinson's journey.
Okay, 9 years in from my diagnosis, I think a lot of people, on reflection after they get diagnosed, recognize that they had a lot of, or not a lot, but several symptoms for a long time beforehand. Like they might have lost their sense of smell or something like that. I don't think I had any of those things. The year before I was diagnosed, I had a frozen shoulder, and in the summer of 2013, and then in the fall, my gait started to feel weird, and I got a bit of a tremor, and so I went to see my GP in March of 2014, and then to a neurologist, and was diagnosed in sort of the summer, just about 10 years or 9 years ago exactly. It was relatively easy to deal with for the first few years. My neurologist, who I won't name, but he was quite reluctant to give me levodopa or Sinemet. So he tried me on some other things for a while. And I think I lost a couple of years of better quality of life, actually, to a degree, because once I switched to a movement disorder specialist, and she started giving me started me more on Sinemet. I think it's been better for sure. I've been able to do more. I've been more motivated. First couple of years in particular, I wasn't very motivated to do very much. I guess they say a lot of people get a 5-year kind of holiday when you first get it, and I probably got that to some degree. And I think things have been getting worse over the last couple of years. I'm taking pills more frequently. I've got more dyskinesia, as you can see. Not all the time, but some of the time for sure. But I'm still able to do pretty intensive exercise and ride my bike and stay involved in the community. We have a pretty good local organization, Parkinson's Wellness Projects, and they have a good facility and lots of programs. And I'm on the board of that, which is also good. So yeah, I haven't had any sort of big progressions or anything. It's just been gradual that things have slowly gotten worse and a little bit more difficult to manage.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think I'm 8 years in, right? And I would say that we have a lot of parallels in that. After my first neurologist meeting, the parting advice I got was, "Hey, you should eat some blueberries." I've been hearing a lot of good things about that. And again, I mean, guys trying to help me, and I sincerely appreciate that. I was hoping for a little bit more than eat blueberries. How long was it, like before your diagnosis? What kind of exercising were you doing?
Not all that much, to be honest. I've been working a fairly busy job up until 2012 when I retired, and I did some consulting after that. So I did some exercise, did some skiing and some walking, but I hadn't really done any kind of very intensive things for quite a while. I had done quite a bit in the past, but I'd done quite a bit of bike riding, and I did a couple of triathlons and a bit of running and that kind of stuff. But I hadn't done very much for the previous probably 5 or 6 years. So so I've done quite a lot more since I was diagnosed, for sure.
Okay, yeah. So tell me about that lifestyle change in exercise
Yeah, well,
after your diagnosis.
So that was from the reading I did and from what the doctors told me, that they said that seemed to be the one thing that slowed the progression was exercise. I've struggled a little bit with what to do because the reading I've done is a bit inconclusive, or it sort of mentions a lot of things that might work, and then the studies you look at, there's 15 people that they tested for, 3 months or something like that. So I have relied on some classes that PWP puts on that are sort of geared for Parkinson's people and are based on some I think science about the kind of movements that help and balance that help and that kind of stuff, and definitely bike riding has been my sort of most the thing I've done the most over the last few years, and that's been good. But I definitely suffer from motivation problems sometimes. And I go in a bit of cycles during the year, but like the end of the summers, usually I'm in pretty good shape every year. And then it sort of tails off a bit over the winter.
Wow, I mean that's pretty much that's pretty much me as well. By the end of the summer, at least I think so. I think I'm in pretty decent shape, and
Well,
then winter, yeah.
You're in pretty good, decent shape.
And thank you. And then the winter hits, and by the time spring starts up again, it's like I feel like I'm starting. I mean, probably not, but I feel like I'm starting all over again.
Yeah.
One more journey, for sure. And so, Andy, where has your bike taken you? Either pre or post diagnosis. What's one of the coolest or most intense rides you've done?
Well, when I was 40, before I was diagnosed, I rode from Victoria to Calgary via the Yellowhead and Jasper and the Icefields Parkway. So that was by far my most ambitious ride. I did that mostly about half by myself and half with somebody else. So, and I was on a mountain bike with all my tents and everything. So that was a challenge.
Well, I guess so. Holy smokes! For those of you who are geographically, that's the Rocky Mountains, and you went up and down them on a mountain bike, carrying all of your stuff. That, my friend, is pretty impressive. Yeah. So well done.
So I did some shorter. I did the Kettle Valley Railway line, which runs through in the Okanagan.
Yep.
And that's not nearly as far, but it was kind of gravel and that was fun to do. It was before it was fully developed, so it was a little bit more interesting, and a few short rides here and there.
Hey, you know what? I rode, like Steve and I last year rode the part of the Kettle Valley Rail Trail.
Oh, did you?
And so.
And here's the ever popular segment, Jim's Spinning Wheels Tour Flashback.
Steve borrowed Mike's gravel bike, and I was on my road bike, and that was like 110 kilometers of torture going through that one. So credit to you for getting that one done. And wow, because for as beautiful as it is, that was one tough ride.
Yeah. Did you climb out of the Okanagan up to the?
Oh, to be honest, So no, when we climbed out of the Okanagan, it was up Osoyoos.
Right.
So how many times, we've mentioned the Parkinson's Wellness Project in Victoria, and we're big fans of them here at the Spinning Wheels Parkinson's Conversation podcast. Tell me a little bit more about what you can do if you're in the Victoria area. Tell me a little bit about them, please.
So they have a pretty good array of classes. Excuse me. They do strength classes. We have a physio who's associated with us that has their own program, which is sort of designed to help with strength and learn about falling. She has her own room in the facility, which is a 3-inch padded floor, so you can actually practice falling and doing stuff like that, which sounds kind of goofy, but I actually got the scars to attest that it works, because I fell down playing pickleball the other day. So, I think the rolling that you learn probably helped me a little bit in that. So those are sort of specialized classes, and then there's a rock steady boxing. We do a couple of classes of that. We have some dance classes, yoga classes. I think I'm missing some. There's actually a singing class, I think, and we do have some occasional one-off language speaking classes to help people. But we're still not maybe fully ramped up, but we kind of balance the budget against the demand and stuff like that, so we can't offer everything all the time. But the place is getting more and more used, and I think one of the other big benefits is that we have kind of a living room that we call it, which is kind of a waiting area that's just casually furnished, and a lot of people come early and stay late and hang out, and there's a lot of information exchanged at those discussions just informally, which I think really help people. And if people are having a bad day, they can often get a bit of support, because it's nice to have somebody there who kind of knows what you're going through a little bit.
Totally. I mean, the whole point of Spinning Wheels Tour, right, was the benefit of exercise in helping your Parkinson's symptoms, and the benefit of community in bringing everybody together. And that just, I mean, it seems what the Parkinson's Wellness Project is doing, right? I love the idea of having that open, common room or living room where people just get to hang out and talk about what they're doing after their class or pre-class. I think I mean, the social aspect of it is in many ways just as important as the physical aspect.
Yes, I think that's true.
Yeah.
The decision was taken to not charge so that nobody would be denied access. So that means we rely on donations primarily for our funding. We do get some money from government grants here and there, but we don't have a steady source of grant money. So we've been sort of lucky that we've had we had a big donation to start with that sort of got it up and running, and then we've had some fairly big legacy giving, bequests, which are you can't really count on, but have helped us. So that we're really aiming to get the participants and families and the community to pay for most of the programming by donations, and we're probably at about 75%, 80%, something like that. But we're going to still have to ramp up the donation, the charitable giving. But we do, I mean, I see people there that don't have very much money and probably couldn't afford it if we had to charge anywhere close to what it cost to put these courses on. So I think we're on the right track, but we'll see.
Okay. So Andy, I mean, like, if anyone wanted to check out Parkinson's Wellness Project and maybe, help them out financially, like $5 to $5 million, how do they do that?
Probably the easiest is to go to the website, Parkinson's Wellness Projects, and there's a donate button right on the front page. So.
Okay, so we'll make sure that we put that in a link to the Parkinson's Wellness Projects and stuff, and hopefully, because you're right, I mean, it's being able to keep it financially viable so that everybody has a way to live better, regardless of how much money they have, is crucial in fighting this disease, right? You can't tell me that somebody doesn't deserve to get an exercise class just because they can't afford the money. They still have the same symptoms that I have.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. So, and I agree. I'm so happy, actually, that you talked about that, and I'm so happy to hear the Parkinson's Wellness Project offers their classes for free. I think that's crucial, and I think as a society we need to stand up or step up and help everybody who's trying to make this go. To give them a little, I mean, we keep on talking about it, right? But Parkinson's disease is set to double by 2040, and Canada has the highest per capita rate of Parkinson's in the world. So this is here, and this is one of the reasons why we're doing this podcast, to espouse the benefits of exercise and community, and to let people, it's an awareness campaign to make sure that people know what's happening. And
I mean, we do have some really good examples of people who were, well, some people that have been, freshly diagnosed, the doctors maybe pointed them towards us to PWP, and they come in and they maybe haven't exercised for some people almost ever in their lives, and they just find the whole prospect very daunting, that they have to exercise and they have to change their lifestyle a lot. And then they come in and they're welcomed and they start slowly. And, within 6 months, we've got people coming 5 or 6 days a week and feeling better than they've probably felt for years. And that's, not hundreds of people like that, but definitely enough examples that it makes you want to keep going for sure.
Oh, absolutely. That's fantastic. So, Andy, you're 9 years into your Parkinson's diagnosis, right? I'm 8 years in. Whether you've been in for 9 days or 9 years or 20 years, what advice would you give to people with Parkinson's? Like, what should we be doing to help ourselves out?
Well, I think there is an element of self-management required in this disease because everybody has so many different symptoms and they come and go at different times. So I think you don't need to become a scientist, but you do need to understand, I think, the basics of how the disease works and what you can do to help yourself. And I think also it's good to get involved in research projects as a participant if you can, because that you learn quite a bit about what's going on in the field, and also it just, I think, is makes you feel like you're doing something positive to contribute to the final, the overall solution when it eventually arises.
Hey everybody, it's Jim here. Just want to thank Andy Robinson again for coming on the Spinning Wheels Parkinson's Conversations podcast. Met Andy briefly last year, but he's a guy in his community who's doing what he can, right? Both for himself and his family and for other people with Parkinson's. And right, it takes everybody pulling in the same direction to make a difference. And Andy is definitely one of those guys pulling in the right direction. So we look forward to having him on again. Also like to thank Mike Logren back in Toronto, making everyone sound and look as good as they can. He's got a hard job, and I don't make it any easier on him. But I appreciate all of his efforts. So thank you once again, Mike. We'll drop a line in again, right? We're coming back to you next week with a different guest. Parkinson's conversations are so important, and we're going to keep on having them. Thanks, everybody.
His first comments was, "It tastes awful," and that maybe that works for cough syrup, but it shouldn't be the case for tea. So PDT tastes nice.